Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV, joined here today with Mark Gonzales. Mark is a local appraiser. He's got his own company, Signature Appraisals. Mark, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's the question I get a lot. We're working with a buyer. The buyer's paying cash. They want to do an appraisal. Is that something you've heard of, or have you done appraisals for people that were paying cash?
Absolutely. It's a great idea because you want to verify what you're paying for. You don't want to overpay for your property. Okay. And so I've seen it a few times. I've done appraisals for people that are paying cash, and it's saved them tens of thousands of dollars. So it's a great idea.
Okay, so you think, so how has that worked in the past? You said they save money. So they were agreed to at this price, but for some reason your appraisal came in at a different price.
Absolutely, yes. And what happens, because the market's always changing, and you know, at one point they're looking at sales in the area that may have been at a higher price point, okay, but then current sales have gone down. Maybe the market was declining at the time, maybe just that subdivision or just that area. And so by the end of the appraisal, they realized that the contract was written at too high, so they've rewritten the contract, and okay, it's saved the buyer a lot of money.
Okay. How do they find you? Like, what typically happens is, if someone's getting a loan, the lender has a list of appraisers. They call one, right?
Yes.
How is it like that people just find you? Because a buyer is like, well, maybe they ask their agent, or I mean, how do people typically find you to hire you to do an appraisal for them?
Usually it's through realtors that maybe know me, or loan officers. I can also be reached on my cell phone 7 days a week. 702-278-8840 is my number. Okay. So they can reach me at any time, but it's usually referrals.
Okay, good. So here's a little scenario. Let's say that a buyer, you do an appraisal for a buyer on a cash purchase. Okay. Then they hand that to the seller and go, hey, we want to amend the price based on the appraisal. If the seller calls you back and says, hey, there's these other sales that I was looking at, and they like send them to you, can you do a revision? Or have you ever done that where you've, maybe a month passed since your appraisal, and have you ever done like a revision? And if you do, how does that work?
Yes, usually they'll contact the mortgage company, who will in turn contact the appraisal management company, okay, who will in turn contact me. They'll send over a request. Usually they'll have some sales that occurred that they wanted me to take a look at. Okay. And so at that point we'll take a look at them and see if they were valid sales, and if they could have been used. Okay. So, all right, so do you get paid for that, or is that just part of the initial appraisal fee? That's just part of the whole initial fee. What if the buyer disputes it? What if the buyer says, hey, I think it's worth more, the low appraisal is affecting me? What, can the buyer dispute it? Anybody can dispute it. Okay. Absolutely. Well, what percentage of them get disputed? It's very rare that they get disputed. Maybe 1 out of 100 gets disputed. Oh, okay. So pretty much, whatever it is. Pretty much. I've had a couple of, one occasion that's happened in the past year that there was an actual sale within the subdivision that closed. I had used it on my appraisal as a pending, but it had actually sold, and because in the pending it was listed for less. When it sold at $10,000 more than it was pending for, and it happened to close on the day of the inspection. So the effective date of the appraisal, which by the time it recorded, I didn't see that sale. It hadn't recorded by the time I had finished my appraisal, and so they asked for me to take a look at that. I did, and I amended my opinion of value. Okay, cool. And it came in higher. So there is a sort of dispute or whatever process if somebody says, hey, I want you to relook at this. I mean, they can. Right? Yes. Absolutely.
When was either the last time or how often do you think, or what percentage of times do you do appraisals where there's not a loan involved? You're just doing it because somebody's asking for it just for whatever reason. They want to know what their portfolio is worth or whatever.
I'd say about 5% of my work is through just people just calling me because they just want to know what the value of their house is. Maybe they're selling it or thinking of refinancing. And so they just, I just had one not that long ago that was going to sell his house to his friend. And he's going to move out of state. And they wanted to know what the value was.
So private sale?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. If somebody wants to get a hold of you and hire you to do an appraisal for them here in Las Vegas or Henderson or wherever in the Vegas area, tell them again how to get in touch with you.
I can be reached at 702-278-8840, and you can reach me 7 days a week.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. That was super informative. Anyway, wanted to share Mark and his expertise with you. That's my update for today, and hope to see you on another video. Thanks.